Hey guys, this is Michael, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Lightdow LD4000. The Lightdow LD4000 is an action camera capable of competing against GoPros shooting in 1080p, but at a fraction of the cost. It can be found on Amazon for about $40 and comes in a wide variety of colors. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at what comes inside the box. Got our unboxing knife here. Alright, here it is. It just slides out like that. Put this to the side. So here is the camera. So as you can see, we do have it in white. So looks like we've got some these little films to protect the lens. See, yep, there's one on the back. Best sound. Alright, so there is our camera. And so here looks like we have another back cover. Alright. And then a bunch of accessories. So wrist strap sort of type things, Velcro pieces. Very important, the charging brick. Looks alright, so it's a 2 amp charger, so not the fastest, but certainly not the slowest either. Here's the battery. We have a bike mount, so you can mount it to the handlebar of a bike or motorcycle. Extension arms, tripod mount. Yep. Okay. Alright, so next we have one of these to go onto the helmet. So you take the plate, attach it to a helmet, this slides into that. Looks like we have a buckle. This is important. This is the mount that you can put your camera in if you don't need the waterproof housing, but you still want to be able to mount it to different accessories and whatnot. Next, we have more of just the extension arms. And in this package, we've got the sticky pieces for these, but these already have it installed. So these are just extras, and you get a little steel cable here, little like 6-inch steel cable that you can somewhere attach this to your camera and then tie it down so that you won't lose it if it breaks loose from the mount. Microfiber cleaning cloths. We have our micro USB cable for charging. The manual, which nobody cares about, right? Low quality zip ties that I wouldn't recommend using. Probably from like the dollar store. Alright, so this is everything you get in the box. Taking a look at the front of the camera, we can see the lens and power/mode selection button, which turns on and off the camera and cycles through the 4 modes: video mode, picture mode, playback mode, and settings. Moving on to the right side, we can see the up and down buttons, which are used to navigate through the menus and zoom in and out. The speaker is also located on this side. On the other side is the micro USB port for charging, a micro HDMI output, and the micro SD card slot. On the back of the camera, there is a 1.5-inch screen. While the screen is certainly not great quality, it is still very nice to have a screen for framing your shot. Most GoPros that this camera is competing with, which would be the GoPro Hero 3 line mostly, since this is a 1080p camera, don't even have screens. On the top is the OK button, which is also the shutter button, and there is a light on the top that blinks when the camera is recording. And finally, the bottom of the camera is where the battery slot is located. Once we click the power button, the camera turns on in about 3 seconds. To start a recording, all we have to do is press the OK button on the top, and to end the recording, we press the OK button again. We can also zoom in and out using the up and down buttons. The next mode is picture mode, which we get to by pressing the mode button. All the controls are the same here. Press OK to take a picture, and use the up and down buttons to zoom in and out. If we press the mode button again, we get to the playback mode where we can review the pictures and videos we've taken. One odd thing here is that to fast forward, you use the down arrow, not the up arrow, and the up arrow to rewind. Pressing the mode button one more time will bring us into the last mode, settings. One thing to note is that if you are in picture mode but then want to go back to video mode, you'll have to cycle through all the rest of the modes. You can't just go back one. That is one thing that definitely could have been improved. Also, when switching between modes, there is a noticeable lag, and you find yourself having to click the mode button multiple times to switch the mode. This is the reason why it's such a hassle to have to cycle through all the modes. This camera is able to record in 5 different resolutions: 1080 30 FPS, 720 60 FPS, 720 30 FPS, and then 2 really low resolutions that you'll probably never use, 848 by 480 and 640 by 480. You would have to be really low on recording space to even consider using those. The audio quality is not great, but it's usable. But if you're planning on using this camera to vlog, you'll definitely want to record the audio externally. And unfortunately, when using the waterproof case, the audio is practically non-existent. And I'll get into the audio a bit more later, but for right now, let's take a look at some test footage. One issue I noticed when using the waterproof case is that it seems to make a vignette in some of the corners of the video, or at the very least kind of degrades the quality of the corners. Now while this isn't a huge issue, it is still something to take note of. And here's how it would look if you were to use this action camera for filming airsoft. When I shot this, I had the camera mounted upside down, and then in editing, I flipped the footage right side up. The only issue with using this camera for airsoft is that because of the quality of the footage, it's very difficult to tell what you're actually shooting at. So here's how it would look if you were to use this camera for making YouTube videos. So there's 2 problems with using this camera. And the first problem is audio quality. So the audio quality is acceptable, but it's not great. So for making YouTube videos, you'd probably want to record audio externally, but that kind of defeats the purpose of having a really cheap setup. $40 camera, and that's it. Now I'm going to switch over to this microphone. So now you're hearing the audio from this microphone. Now, this kind of defeats the purpose, of course, because we're using expensive microphones to record the audio, and with a cheap camera, which just doesn't make sense. But it is recording into my iPhone, so you can do that. You don't need, a fancy audio recorder. But I do have a cheap solution. Alright, so here's my other audio solution. This right here is a really cheap $15 smartphone lav mic. So here I have my iPhone, and it just plugs straight in. If you have an iPhone 7, of course, you're going to need the dongle, but if you do have a headphone jack, it'll plug straight into your phone and allow you to record audio. And the app I'm using is just the free Rode Reporter app, and it accepts headset microphones like this, so you can plug in a microphone and you can just record the audio externally. And this specific lav mic is the U mic, which I'll leave a link to in the description if you're curious. And you can find a lot of different really cheap smartphone lav mics. So as you can see, the audio is not as great as the microphone, as having this right here, but it's definitely a lot better than listening to the onboard camera audio on the $40 action camera. So this is definitely a good option, but then again, if you're going to record the audio through your iPhone, well then why don't you just, record the video on your phone as well? Alright, so now I've got this microphone going, also going right into my iPhone, and now you actually really have audio at all. So as you can see, with the waterproof case on, you really just don't get audio, except for when you're underwater. When you take the camera underwater, you can kind of hear like the sound of the water when it's going from like air to water. but other than that, you really just cannot hear anything when it's in the waterproof case. So if you want audio when you have the waterproof case on, you're really just going to have to record the audio externally. The second issue with using an action camera for your YouTube camera is that it's so wide and the edges get this barrel distortion. Now that can be fixed using Premiere Pro because there's some GoPro presets. Here's how it looks when we apply one of these presets. It just flattens out the image and everything just looks like a normal camera. So this is an option that you could do. So if you want to use this as a YouTube camera, it actually looks pretty good. Right now I'm shooting in 720p at 60 FPS, and what you'll probably notice is that the audio is just the slightest bit out of sync. And while you can probably resync the audio in post, it's very annoying because 60 FPS is definitely an option that you would want to have on an action camera. Here's how this camera could look for making vlogs. Alright, so today we are looking for this place that sells atmospheric aerosol. And it's this weird place called Able Cine/Chai. We are at the Crown Fountain. This will also be a good audio test because the water makes a lot of noise. So we'll see how the audio sounds if I turn around the camera and how the audio sounds from the lav mic with the noisy waterfall in the background. One thing that you can also hear is that the camera makes a lot of wobbling noise inside of its case. And finally, here are a few test photos. Here's how the camera looks when it's zoomed in all the way. So as you can see, the video quality is actually really good considering the $40 price tag. The area that takes the biggest hit is probably audio. The audio is okay for just shooting a quick video, but for vlogging or anything with lots of talking, you'll definitely want to record audio externally. Only thing about that is that it kind of defeats the purpose of having the action camera to be small, lightweight, portable, able to be mounted anywhere and waterproof, because if you have an external audio recorder, it's probably not going to be waterproof and it's going to add a lot more bulk to the setup. Or if you use your phone to record the audio, then you might as well just record the video on your phone as well. For batteries, you get two 900 milliamp batteries, and to charge it, you have to put the battery in the camera and then plug the micro USB cable into the camera, and then of course into a computer or power brick. Lightdow claims that when shooting in 1080p, you'll get 70 minutes of battery on a single charge. One issue I noticed when reading some of the Amazon reviews on this camera is that people are having an issue with the micro USB port actually getting pushed into the camera when they plug it in. To solve this issue, I bought some extra batteries that happen to come with the charger, which I'll leave a link to in the description below. So it comes with two batteries that have about like 150 milliamps more than the stock batteries that come with the camera, and they come with a little charger. You can either put one or both of the batteries into this little charger, and then it plugs in either with a mini USB cable, which is included, or a micro USB cable. So if you charge your batteries like this, you'll never have to plug the micro USB cable into your camera, eliminating the possibility that the port could get pushed in. Or in the future, if the port ever does get pushed into the camera, you can always just buy this battery kit and you'll have a way of charging your batteries instead of having to buy an all new camera. If you plan on using this as a dash cam, there's a special car mode that whenever it receives power, like when the car turns on, it'll automatically turn on and start recording. And when it loses power, when you turn the car off, it'll stop recording and turn the camera off. And even though it only costs $40, it comes with a wide variety of accessories, and because it uses the GoPro mount, you can buy GoPro accessories for it. In conclusion, I think that the Lightdow LD4000 is a great little action camera considering that it's only $40. I would highly recommend this camera, and especially if you're looking for a GoPro but don't have the money, this is a great alternative. It has a wide variety of uses, and when you consider the fact that you can use GoPro accessories with it, it just opens up a whole world of possibilities. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to hit that thumbs up down below, leave a comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.